killing an unborn child is like worshiping on Sabbath morning. When talking about abortion in the Adventist church, many people get scared or spooked or creeped out when I point out our church's teaching that abortion is an act of worshiping God. That idea is so hideous that many people instantly recoil in horror and immediately deny this. They say that's not true, and that type of reaction is perfectly understandable. However, in this video, I'm going to give you examples of church leaders who out of their own mouth prove this point. To review, it is an undeniable fact that the Adventist Church officially defines the killing of a child as a matter of religious liberty or freedom of conscience.
The abortion issue, and let me just say in little parenthesis here, we cannot be the conscience for someone else in this situation.
And printed right here in black and white on the church's official website, by definition, religious liberty is concerned only with matters of worship. So when our church says that killing children is a matter of religious liberty, and by definition religious liberty is only about worship, then by definition abortion is worship. Most Seventh-day Adventists have never given this much thought, and it's been my experience that when I tell this to people, they get all freaked out since it's so creepy and macabre. However, consider this. Dr. James Walters is a professor of ethical studies at Loma University. In an article, The Appropriateness of the Adventist Position on Abortion, Walters writes that the most prominent point of our teaching on abortion is that it's a matter of religious liberty. And get ready to be spooked, because he says this. In this document of a mere 750 words, some 50 are in freedom references, thus comprising about 7% of the entire text. However, undergirding this illuminating statistic are substantive reasons for the guidelines' focus on freedom. The denomination's deepest roots in the soil of what? The soil of individual religious liberty. Many of the who of the pioneers had been thrust from their Sunday-keeping congregations because they conscientiously followed their personal understanding of Scripture, and they initially resisted organization out of fear that they too could become intolerant of believers' treasured personal what? Personal religious liberty. Now take a moment to stop and think about that. Loma Linda theologians are notorious not only for their involvement in leading the church to accept abortion, but also in defending it, and they themselves, out of their own mouth, liken the murdering of children by abortion to the pioneers' conviction to leave Sunday churches and worship on the Sabbath. For many people watching this video, I know that this is so disgusting and horrific, but this is exactly what they believe. Words have meaning, and when you define abortion as a matter of religious freedom, then by definition, you are in fact making the claim that killing children is a form of worship. The people in our church who wrote this position on abortion, the people who crafted this language, the people who defend abortion openly admit this as true. Professor Gerald Winslow, also of Loma Linda, was one of the main architects of the church's position. Loma Linda University ethicist Gerald Winslow became the dominant figure in the abortion committee debate, and it was Winslow who was given the task of writing the initial draft of the statement, which became the church's official position supporting abortion. Speaking about Adventists and abortion, Dr. Winslow said this.
Ellen White says, in reasons of conscience, the soul must be left untrammeled. Old-fashioned language, but the point's the same. You get to decide. And that's very strong. That's why we publish a magazine called Liberty. So it's not just one value. And to tell a person what that person is going to do with his or her own body is to run into very sacred territory.
Okay, there it is, right there out of his own mouth. Telling a woman that she cannot kill her child is to enter very what? Very sacred territory. And that's why we publish a magazine called what? Liberty, which is, quote, the leading magazine on religious freedom. It also says, quote, religious liberty entails freedom of conscience. To do what? To worship or not to worship. So again, there it is, out of their own mouth. The people in our church who wrote the pro-abortion position, the people who crafted this language, the people who defend abortion openly without any hesitation, they themselves, out of their own mouths, strongly claim that abortion is religious. This is sacred, and it must be defended as a religious freedom the exact same way that we defend the religious freedom to worship on the Sabbath. abortion and the Sabbath. The Sabbath and abortion, they are the same thing because we have defined them as religious in nature. We Adventists openly preach, we teach to the entire world that violently torturing and murdering a little innocent child is just as much a matter of worship as it is to attend church on Sabbath morning.